Welcome to Brunch with Brian this morning, and today we are going to do a makeup session. I'm embarrassed about yesterday that I had the mute on, which never happens. So obviously the mute's not on today. Sorry about that, gang. I am going to run through quickly the incredible information I had yesterday that you may have tried to glean through lip reading. Okay, so I wanted to talk about having the most energy and having the most physical wherewithal to attack your work and to have that energy and to have, if you have bubbling over energy, I mean, it really helps you to say, hey, let me get on that call. Let me let me set an appointment. But if you're fatigued, there's a famous saying, fatigue makes cowards of us all. So you want to have lots of energy. And I'm going to talk today about the best health pledge. I used to talk about this at the Taking Action workshop. We used to do a 2 or even a 3-day live Taking Action workshop. We used to cover all aspects of life. I mean, not just real estate investing, but we did a lot of stuff talking about health. And so health, I would take a whole long section on, but the best way that I could keep it, crystallized in people's memories is to use an acronym. I love using acronyms. A great acronym for this is your best health pledge. So I want you to make a pledge today. I want you to pledge that you're going to try to get in the best health that you can. Why? 2 reasons. You want to live the longest you can. You want to be around the longest you can. You want to see your kids grow up. You want to see your grandkids grow up as much as you can. I'm timing it out right now. And I don't know if I really made an official announcement on this, but we have our very first grandchild on the way. And so that's, we're having a grandbaby sometime around Thanksgiving. And so I'm sure I will be talking about that will influence some of what I'm talking about on Brunch with Brian, I imagine. But that, you want to be around. I mean, how old am I right now? And when, you always look at when they're 18 or 22 or, will I be around when they graduate from college? Will I be around, how much will I be able to help them? Will I even be able to coach them through sports when they're in, grade school? And so, or am I going to be too creaky? Am I going to be too old to get around? So obviously we all want to live a long time, be around and have as much fun as we can. Alexa, stop. I had to tell Alexa to stop there. And so I want you to be aware of, longevity, and I want you to live as long as you can. And I want you to think about the things that will help you live a long time. And obviously beyond longevity, I want you to enjoy the time that you're here and be effective in your real estate career, investing career. And that is all aided by being physically fit. If you're physically fit, it really does help. Now, remember, I don't know if you know this, I don't have a picture of this, but I used to weigh 204 pounds. I got up to 204 pounds at my peak. And now I weigh about 160. I lost 50 pounds in 50 weeks. And part of that was obviously diet. So let's go through your best health pledge. I'm not going to take a ton of time with this. Morning, Caleb. Morning, WL. Good to see you guys. So the best health pledge, B, stands for breathe deeply. So we obviously breathe deeply every day on Brunch with Brian. And I'd love it if you use that deep breathing throughout your day. It oxygenates your red blood cells. It cleanses your lymph system. Lots of really positives. And it invigorates you. When you take your deep breaths, it's a great way of, and it's a great alternative to grabbing a sugar snack or some kind of a other little pick-me-up like a soda. Instead of doing that, try doing 5 deep breaths, or just do deep breathing for about 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, one after the other. You're going to be in a whole different mindset after that. And so that's really, I love breathing deeply. People don't necessarily think of that as a big health benefit. They think, I got to stay in shape, I got to hit a certain weight, and I got to get some exercise, but they don't think about the breathing part. So make sure that's part of your health plan. Next is E. So for that, we say eat smart. Okay, so breathe deeply, eat smart. And that just means, I'll tell you, how did I lose all that weight? There's a really simple key to it. I used affirmations, but I also used smaller portion satisfaction. So write that down if you're trying to, lose weight or maintain your weight. Small portion satisfaction was the big difference. The normal American diet, you look at your dinner plate and how full is that dinner plate? Well, in China or in some other country, it might be a lot less. And in America, we have a pretty big dinner plate, and a lot of the food on there may be high in fat. And so that's why trim down those portions. You don't even have to stop eating things. I would still eat pizza when I was losing all that weight, but I would just have one piece instead of three pieces. So smaller portion satisfaction. And the way to be able to do that is eat frequently. You should be eating about every 3 hours, and that will keep you from ever wanting to gorge yourself on a whole bunch of food. So you can almost eat 5 snacks throughout the day. That's how I lost the weight anyway. I ate 5 snacks throughout the day, roughly at 8, 11, 2, 5, and 8, something like that, and not big food, like some celery with some salsa and Triscuits and cheese, so not big food. So eat smart just means smaller portions. And yeah, don't eat stupid stuff. I mean, don't eat a ton of sugar. I mean, I still eat sugar once in a while, and I'm not a dictator about my food, but I'm trying to be careful about how much. I try not to eat big, huge pieces of cake and ice cream every night. Obviously that's going to really affect your diet, your physical health, and not just your weight. That's the thing. Sometimes people think, well, I'm not eating that great and I'm going to gain weight, but also you're a lot more sluggish during the day. You don't feel good. You get tired because you spike up on sugar and then crash. And so just be aware, eat smart, eat as smart as you can. Now, one thing that helps me eat smart is I do take supplements. That's part of it. And so I'm just going to show you real quick. I do, and a lot of guys have heard about this because it's getting a lot of advertising, is Balance of Nature. Again, I have nothing to do with this company, but I do like this Balance of Nature. It's fruits and vegetables, and I do take 3 of these each a day. Okay, so these are good for you, and they actually taste like fruits and vegetables. Read the ingredients. And yeah, and that's an expenditure, and it's a monthly expenditure. I take 1 of those each a month. And so if you're going to do that, it is a little bit of money and it is a little commitment, but it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better psychologically that I'm actually getting fruits and vegetables that I wasn't getting. I knew I wasn't eating that great of a diet, and I for sure wasn't getting enough green vegetables. And so this really makes me feel better about that. Like I really am getting that now. So I like those products. And then, I would recommend, and everybody has different opinions about this, and I don't have a conclusive opinion. If somebody had a huge scientific study and brought it to me and said, look, vitamins don't work, I might be swayed. But right now, I think they probably do work a little bit. So I also take a 1 a day, Centrum Silver, because I'm a little older. And then I take Nariva. This is a brain thing, if you want to. And again, boy, it's like, I don't have a good baseline. It's like before I was taking it and after I was taking it, it wasn't like some big magical thing. Wow, and all of a sudden my brain is working better, but some of that is psychological too. Just the fact that you're taking care, you're taking that step, you're doing that ritual every day of taking a pill for your mental health, makes you think about your mental health, makes you think about being smarter and sharper. So it's up to you guys. I'm not preaching a bunch of vitamins and supplements to anybody, but I think that it's at least in my life, I think it's a wise decision. So that's that fills in the spaces basically when you don't eat that great. And one thing that you should try to eat is refried beans. That kind of bean paste. It's baked beans kind of work too, but they add so much brown sugar to the baked beans. But that's, in the blue zones in the world, there's a book out there that talks about the blue zones in the world where people live over 100, a lot of people live very long lives. And one of those factors is a simple life, and we don't have that in America. It's very complicated. But if you can try to simplify your life, not get all tangled up in all the everything going on and all the stressors all the time. But these people, like this guy's a shepherd, and they got an interview with him, and he's like 94, and he's thinking about retiring now. So he's still hiking up into the meadows with his sheep and bringing them down at night, and but it's a very simple life. He's very active, which is a key. He eats the right stuff. He doesn't eat a lot of processed food, obviously. And so, but some kind of bean paste seems to be key for living longer. You know, something about your digestive system likes that, like refried beans type thing. And rice is always good. So beans and rice, that's, you know, that could be a good component in your diet. Like if you ate that every day, it'd be good for you. So, but just think about that. Just eat smart. Think about eating smarter. You know, again, just smaller portion satisfaction is a big thing. If you can just trim down what you already eat, that will be a big step in the right direction. Okay, then what is S? Remember, we're doing our best health pledge. First is breathe deeply. Next is eat smart. And then S is sleep well. Sleep well. Do you guys get enough sleep? Thank you for the congratulations, Caleb, on our grandbaby coming. So who eats well? You guys eat well? What are you guys talking about over here? Okay. Oh, okay. Good job. Good job, Tony. Tony's got calls today. And we're kind of not talking about real estate exactly, but you know, we always talk about stuff that helps. And so I will talk to Tony if you need any help, call. Caleb, good to see everybody on here. And now let's get to S. S is sleep well, and that's up to every person, kind of needs different amount of sleep. I'm pretty good, and I tend to wake up after about 6 hours, even if I want to sleep longer. But guess what? Sometimes I have built up a little bit of a sleep deficit, and I find myself, I sleep 8 hours one night all of a sudden. And normally I always wake up at 6 hours. So that means to me that I needed that couple extra hours of sleep there. So if you're getting at least six is really important. But Lynette gets a lot of sleep. Lynette sleeps eight hours a night, sometimes 9 hours a night if we don't have pickleball. That's good. I mean, she really has a ton of energy. I think part of that is because she sleeps well. And napping is good. Power naps. Don't forget that. If you can take a nap during the day, just a 20-minute nap, it gives you a chance to think about things too. You go and you lie down on your back and you just calm your mind, and all of a sudden you start getting good ideas, and then you take a little nap, and then you're back at it. So I actually believe in naps too. So T stands for taking action physically. So that means getting some kind of exercise. Right now, I am just absolutely immersed in pickleball. We play pickleball every day, pretty much. We played today. We played it yesterday. Lynette plays 2 times a day a lot of times. So pickleball is really our sport of choice, our physical exercise of choice right now. We used to go hiking all the time before we got super into pickleball. But just find something you really like to do. That's the best guarantee that you're going to get exercise, is you find something that you really want to do. I want to get out there. I want to get on my bike and go riding. I want to, get out and take a walk with my spouse. Even if it's just taking a walk with your spouse, and that can serve a dual purpose, because it's not just good for your fitness, it's good for your marriage. It gives you a chance to share time and focus and enjoy each other's company. So positive neuroassociations. So that's your health pledge. Be as conscious of it as you can be, because it will absolutely impact your real estate investing and the whole rest of your life. So again, B is breathe deeply. E is eat smart. S is sleep well, and T, take action physically, get exercise. So I follow my best health pledge. That's kind of a long affirmation, but it just means that you're aware of what will keep you in the best health and you try to stick to it. I follow my best health pledge. Okay, let's all pledge. I am going to get in better shape by following this best health pledge. Okay, ready? I am going to get in better shape by following this best health pledge. Okay, there, you just made the pledge. So I follow my best health pledge. That's our affirmation. On three times. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I follow my best health pledge. I follow my best health pledge. I follow my best health pledge. Yes. So follow that as best you can to be in health. And we're going to do our deep breathing right now. So you're following it as we speak. Nice deep breath in. Oh, it feels good. Big smile. Let it out. When you let it out, relax. Okay, another deep breath in. Big smile, and let it out. Okay, another one. Really deep. Really fill up your lungs. Hold it a little bit, and then Let it go. Relax your arms and shoulders. That's so good for you. Oh, and another little thing that I could try to squeeze in there would be stretching. Stretching is very important for you, especially as you get older. Now, if you're still 20, maybe you don't have to worry about stretching as much, but as you get older, especially, 30, 40, 50, if you don't stretch, you're going to be all creaky and you're not going to have the performance from your body that you want. All right, so awesome. Have a great weekend. Make your calls. What are we trying to do? We're all trying to have a deal meeting this weekend. So if you're calling sellers today, calling them off of VA sheets, the goal is to set an appointment. Okay, so when you're calling, the goal of a closing call is, number one, establish credibility. They should tell you know what you're talking about. You sound credible, and that comes from you practicing and role playing and getting used to that script. Role playing that script several times. Now, some of you guys have talked to enough sellers and gone through that script so many times with sellers. It's sort of like you've role played it with a lot of sellers. You're pretty comfortable with the script. Some of you guys are really good with scripts from the get-go. I mean, you can read a script cold and be good at it, but that's what you're working on when you get to that level where you get a VA sheet back, or you've taught, somebody's done the opening call. Now it's closing call time. So probably 90% of the time we're using the seller financing closing call, which is that 2.5-page script. And you follow that and just keep going. And if they try to derail you, just get back to the script, answer whatever objection they have briefly, and then get back to the script and get to the end. And if you get to the end, you're going to have a deal meeting. So what's the point of that closing call? So if you've got closing calls to make this weekend, the outcome, the desired outcomes, your goals of that closing call are establishing credibility, so they believe you're credible, and you build rapport. Don't forget that comes from your real estate bio. So have a really strong real estate bio that you like to say. I mean, when you say your real estate bio, you should feel good. You should feel confident. You should feel like that's a strong part of your phone call, that they're like getting on board with you as you're saying it, and you're building that rapport, establishing that credibility. Then what's the next step of the call is you negotiate the 4 pretty house deal points. So you get into that part of the script, and that's, it's really worded well. Just stick to the script as much as you can, and you'll get through those. And you don't even really have to negotiate, just follow the scripts. And so you negotiate those 4 pretty house deal points, or get them as close to negotiated as possible. And then you're setting the appointment. I want you to get out there, and if you hang up the phone, and there may be a part in there where you're answering questions and objections. So sometimes I'll put that in the mix. So I would say, if you're writing it down, the goals of your closing call: number 1, establish credibility; number 2, build rapport; number 3, negotiate the 4 deal points. And on a subject to deal, that's pretty easy. You're just asking them, will you sell me the house for what you owe on it? And that's not a lot more to it than that. And then lastly, and then you're going to answer questions or objections. That's number 4. Number 4 is answer questions or objections. And number 5, set the appointment. Okay, so get that appointment set up so you can go out there and buy that house. And then study your deal meeting scripts. Make sure you fill out your contract in advance. Have it typed out. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. It looks very professional, and you get a lot less questions when it's typed out. And then get out there and buy that house. Okay, so that's a quick crash course on your closing call and getting out there and buying houses. So I know, because I had to go through that, because Tony's talking about how he's got some important calls coming up today. So kill it, Tony. We're rooting for you. All right, so great brunch with Brian as always today. I'm glad I could go through that. Sorry about yesterday. I feel embarrassed, but we just move on and do our best, right? Do our best and move on. Don't hold grudges against yourself. Forgive yourself and move on. So important. All right, so love you guys, and I will see you on Monday. Until then, have an awesome weekend. Keep expecting success, getting awesome training, and